What if I told you that the silence you're drowning in right now isn't empty? What if I told you that the space where their words should be is actually screaming? You're staring at your phone, checking for a text that never comes, reading old conversations, trying to find a clue in the digital ashes of what you once had. Your mind is a battlefield, and on one side is your heart, screaming, they have to be feeling this too, and on the other side is your logic, a cold, brutal general stating, if they wanted to, they would. But what if both are wrong? What if you're looking for the message in the wrong place? What if their communication isn't in words, but in the seismic shifts in the energy field between you? What if their missing you is so terrifying, so earth-shattering to their nervous system, that it gets trapped behind a fortress of fear? A fear so powerful that silence feels like the only safe option. This isn't about excuses. This is about decoding a language of the soul. This is about understanding the storm inside someone who was taught that needing someone is the ultimate danger. For the next few minutes, I want you to step into a new reality. I want you to see the invisible, hear the silence, and reclaim a power so profound that their silence will no longer have the power to break you. Let's begin. The first and most critical shift you must make is to stop listening for words and start feeling for energy. For an avoidant individual, language is a minefield. Words create expectations, promises create obligations, I miss you creates a terrifying vulnerability. Their entire defense system is built around maintaining emotional self-sufficiency, and spoken need dismantles that entire architecture. So they don't speak, but they do communicate. Their communication is a symphony played in the key of silence, and you must learn to be the conductor. It's in the subtle, almost imperceptible shifts. It's in the digital breadcrumb that feels random to everyone but you. That song they shared on a story at 2 a.m., that lyrics are your story. That's a flare. That casual like, on a post from 6 months ago, that's a tap on the shoulder from a distance. That random email forwarding an article about a topic you once discussed, that's a whispered, I am thinking of you, but I cannot say it. You have to understand the psychology behind this. For them, these actions are safe, they are low stakes, they are deniable. If confronted, they can say, oh, I just saw it and thought it was interesting, while their heart is pounding out of their chest hoping you decode the real message. This behavior is rooted in what attachment science calls protest behavior. When a connection is threatened, the secure person moves closer, the avoidant person moves away, but often in a way that is designed to pull the other person back without them having to take the risk of asking. It's a test. It's a cry for connection wrapped in the armor of indifference. Your job is not to respond to every breadcrumb. That will drain you and keep you trapped in a cycle of hope and despair. Your job is to recognize it for what it is, a confirmation of your significance. It is the irrefutable evidence that your absence has created a vacuum in their world. When you start to see these actions not as confusing mixed signals, but as a coherent, albeit flawed, language of longing, you take back your power. You are no longer a passive victim of their silence. You become an astute observer of their human struggle. This knowledge must become the foundation upon which you build your next steps, because understanding without action is just intellectual entertainment. You now know they are missing you. The critical question becomes, what will you do with that information? Will you run toward the silent whisper, or will you use this certainty to fuel your own evolution? You need to grasp a paradoxical truth that will set you free. Their retreat was not a measure of your lack of value, but a testament to your overwhelming power. You became an anchor in their storm, and the stability you offered was more terrifying than the chaos they were used to. An avoidant individual is conditioned to believe that dependence is dangerous. Their core wound is often, I can only rely on myself. So, when they find someone, when they find you who provides a genuine safe harbor, it triggers an existential alarm. This feels unfamiliar. This feels like losing themselves. The intimacy, the connection, the peace you offer, it threatens to dissolve the very identity they've built as a lone wolf, or the strong one who needs no one. So they do the only thing their survival brain knows how to do. They create distance. They find flaws. They retreat into silence. It's a perverse form of self-sabotage, all driven by one primal fear. If I let this person in, if I truly rely on them, and they leave, I will be destroyed. Therefore, I must leave first. You must see this not as a rejection of you, but as a rejection of the vulnerability that you represent. You became a mirror reflecting back a part of themselves they are not ready to face, their own deep, human need for love and connection. This is why the missing happens. In the silence and space, the memory of that anchor, that peace begins to resurface. The nervous system, which initially registered your closeness as a threat, now begins to register your absence as a different kind of threat, a threat of loss. The very stability they ran from is now the very thing their soul craves. They start to miss the peace, the laughter, the feeling of being truly seen. But again, the fear is greater, so they might hover, they might send those breadcrumbs we talked about. They are testing the waters, seeing if they can dip a toe back into the connection without being consumed by it. Your power move here is to refuse to be a temporary port in their storm. You must become the entire ocean, vast, deep, and unshakable, with or without their ship. Your value as an anchor is not diminished by their inability to drop anchor. It is confirmed by it. The most powerful thing you can do is to continue to be that source of peace, not for them, but for yourself. Let them see from a distance what they chose to leave. Let your stability become a standing invitation to their higher self, while you fully accept that they may never be brave enough to RSVP. The moment they pull away is the most critical moment of your entire journey. Most people see withdrawal as a catastrophe. It feels like abandonment. It feels like rejection. It triggers every insecurity you have. And in that state of panic, you make the fatal error you chase. You send the long text. You try to talk. You try to convince them of your value. And every time you do, you confirm their deepest fear, that this connection is engulfing, that it will cost them their autonomy. So they run further. I want you to reframe this entire dynamic right now. See their withdrawal not as a problem to be solved, but as an invitation. It is an invitation to turn the energy, the attention, the focus, and the love you were pouring into them back onto yourself. This is where you claim your unshakable power. This is the universe forcing you to look in the mirror and ask the toughest question: why am I so desperate for a love that isn't being openly offered? Their silence is holding up a space for you to build a fortress of self-worth so strong that no one's silence can ever shake it again. This path is not easy. It requires brutal honesty. It means sitting with the pain instead of numbing it or chasing a fix from the person who caused it. It means taking all that analytical energy you were using to decode their behavior and using it to decode your own. What attachment patterns are you playing out? Where in your past did you learn that love feels like this, anxious, uncertain, and full of longing? This is your hero's journey. The avoidant person is not your villain. They are your catalyst. They are the character in your story who forces you to stop looking for external validation and to find the wellspring of worth within yourself. Start building a life so magnificent, so full of passion, purpose, and joy that their presence or absence becomes a footnote, not the headline. Go to the gym not to get a body they'll want, but to feel the power in your own muscles. Pursue your career goals not to impress them, but to experience the thrill of your own competence. Nurture your friendships so your cup is already full. When you do this, a magical shift occurs. You stop needing them to miss you because you are too busy enjoying yourself. And that energy, the energy of a full, vibrant, self-sufficient life, is the most magnetic force in the universe. It is the very thing that will either inspire them to finally step up, or it will make you completely indifferent to whether they do or not. That is true victory. Let's talk about magnetism. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. Right now, if you are pining, waiting, and hoping, you are emitting the energy of lack. You are broadcasting a signal that says, my happiness is dependent on you. And that is repellent to everyone, but especially to an avoidant who is terrified of that kind of responsibility. The transformation happens when you shift from seeking validation to embodying value. You must become the prize, not in an arrogant, egotistical way, but in a quiet, unshakable knowing of your own worth. This isn't about playing games or using tactics. This is a fundamental internal shift that radiates outwards and changes your entire reality. When you become the prize, your energy communicates. My life is incredible. I am at peace. I am moving forward with or without you. You are welcome to join me on this journey, but you will have to catch up to the standard I have set. This is not a message you send in a text. This is a message you live every single day. It's in the calm assurance in your voice. It's in the way you no longer jump when your phone buzzes. It's in the way you talk about your future with excitement, regardless of who is in it. This creates a magnetic pull that is incredibly powerful. The avoidant individual is drawn to strength and self-sufficiency. Their core fear is being swallowed by neediness. When they see you thriving independently, it makes you feel safe again. It dismantles their defenses because you are no longer posing a threat to their autonomy. You are now a fellow sovereign individual, and a connection between two whole people is the only kind of connection that has a chance of lasting. They will start to miss not just the memory of what you had, but the reality of who you have become. They will see you glowing, evolving, and winning at life, and the thought will creep in, I had that, I let that go, and they are doing even better without me. This creates a cognitive dissonance that can be a powerful catalyst for change within them. But remember, the goal is not to make them change. The goal is for you to become so magnetic that you attract what you deserve. Whether that is a transformed version of them or someone new who recognizes your value immediately is almost irrelevant. You win either way. You have become the prize, and prizes are not left on the shelf for long. As you transform, as you become this magnetic, powerful, self-assured individual, you will be tested. The universe will test you. Life will test you. And they will test you. Those breadcrumbs will turn into more. You might get a "Hey, how are you?" text. You might run into them and feel the old energy. This is the final exam. This is where 99% of people fail because they mistake a breadcrumb for a banquet. They see the slightest opening and they run back, throwing all their newfound power out the window, returning to the old dynamic of chasing and seeking. You must be stronger. You must have ironclad boundaries. Boundaries are not walls to keep people out. They are gates that define who you allow into your sacred space and on what terms. Your new boundary is simple. I am no longer available for vague, low-effort, non-committal communication. I am only available for clear, direct, and courageous intimacy. What does this look like in practice? It means that when that text comes in, you don't respond with a novel. You respond with calm, polite, and uninvested energy. You let them lead. You force them to use their words. If they want to talk, they can ask a real question. If they want to see you, they can make a clear plan. You do not fill the silence for them. You do not make it easy for them to have access to your energy without offering their own. This is excruciatingly difficult because every fiber of your being will want to reconnect, but you must hold the line. You are essentially holding a space for two possibilities, and you must be at peace with either. The first possibility is that they rise to the occasion. They see the new you, they feel the new standard, and they are inspired to do their own work, to become more secure, to communicate openly. The second possibility is that they cannot meet the standard and they fade away. By holding this boundary, you are not pushing them away. You are simply allowing the truth to reveal itself. You are giving them the choice: step into the light of honest connection or stay in the shadows of ambiguity. And you are making it clear that the shadows are no longer a place you reside. This is the ultimate act of self-love. It communicates to yourself and to the world that your time, your heart, and your spirit are precious commodities, and you will not auction them off to the lowest bidder. Let's talk about the finish line. The finish line is not getting them back. The finish line is not even them admitting they miss you. The ultimate victory, the prize that dwarfs all others, is a state of serene indifference. Indifference is not hatred or anger. Anger is still a connection, it's just a hot one. Indifference is a state of neutral peace. It is the realization that their thoughts, their feelings, their actions, or their inability to communicate no longer have any emotional charge for you. You can think of them and feel nothing. You can hear about them and it doesn't stir your soul. You have reached a place where your happiness and self-worth are entirely decoupled from them. How do you get there? You get there by walking the path we've laid out. You decode their silence to confirm your significance, then you stop obsessing over it. You use their withdrawal as fuel for your own transformation. You become so magnetic and full of your own life that your focus shifts from, "Do they want me?" to, "What do I want?" You hold firm boundaries that honor your new energy. And through that consistent practice, one day you will wake up and realize the storm has passed. The obsession is gone. The ache has healed. You are free. In this state of indifference, you are truly empowered to write your own happy ending. And here is the beautiful paradox. This state of indifference is the very thing that makes a genuine reconciliation possible. Because if they ever do return, it will not be to a desperate person who needs them, but to a whole person who can choose them. The power dynamic is forever shifted. You are no longer a beggar hoping for scraps of attention. You are a queen or a king deciding if this person is worthy of a place in your kingdom. But more likely, by the time you reach this state of indifference, you will have attracted new opportunities, new loves, new levels of personal success that make the old story feel small and distant. You will look back not with bitterness, but with gratitude for the catalyst they were. The ultimate victory is your liberation. It is the reclaiming of your soul, and that is a win that no one can ever take from you. This journey from heartbreak to power is not for the faint of heart. It is a hero's journey that demands you face your deepest fears and insecurities, not in the presence of your lover, but in the quiet solitude of your own company. It requires you to look into the abyss of silence and not see emptiness, but to see an invitation to find your own voice, your own strength, your own unshakable core. The avoidant person in your life has served as a perfect, if painful, mirror, reflecting back the parts of yourself that were waiting to be healed and empowered. Their inability to speak their truth has forced you to become brutally honest with your own. Remember, their silence was never a measure of your worth, but a testament to the intensity of the connection you were capable of creating, a connection so powerful it threatened the very foundations of their defensive fortress. Every breadcrumb, every distant signal was a confirmation from their deepest self that you mattered, that your absence was felt, that the anchor you provided was missed in the chaos of their internal storm. You now hold that knowledge not as a tool to manipulate, but as a truth to liberate you from the prison of doubt. The path forward is paved with the bricks of self-investment. It is built in the gym, in the pages of the books you read, in the skills you master, in the friendships you deepen, and in the purpose you pursue with relentless passion. You are no longer waiting for a message. You are too busy writing the story of your own magnificent life. This vibrant, full, and self-sufficient energy is the most powerful force you can cultivate, making you magnetic to all that you deserve. As you move forward, hold your boundaries not as walls of bitterness, but as the sacred gates to your kingdom. You now know the difference between a breadcrumb and a banquet, between low-effort nostalgia and courageous, clear intention. By refusing to accept anything less than the standard you have set, you teach the world how to treat you, and you give the avoidant individual a clear choice: evolve and step into the light, or remain in the shadows without you. The ultimate outcome is no longer in their hands. It is in yours. Whether they find the courage to speak or remain forever silent, you have already won the greatest prize, the rediscovery of yourself. You are whole. You are powerful. You are complete. And from this place of abundance, you are now free to create a love that is not based on fear and lack, but on mutual respect, courageous vulnerability, and a choice that is made freely every single day. That is your destiny. Thank you for having the courage to be here, to listen, and to choose a different path for yourself. Your breakthrough is on the other side of this pain. Now go out there and claim the life, the love, and the power that has been waiting for you all along. I believe in you. Now go and believe in yourself. Goodbye.